Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Nicole Thornton, the sales manager for the Cole Realty Group Atlanta. Make sure to follow me at Your Real Estate Style Pro on Instagram.
And hey guys, this is Naisha Clark, the coaching trainer for the Cole Realty Group in Orlando. You can find me at The Right Realtor, ATL FL.
And hey guys, I'm Peyton Reeves. I'm the owner of Inspection Analytics here in Atlanta. And you can find me at Inspection Analytics on Instagram.
So guys, before we dive into today, we want to go ahead and just welcome some of our guests we have today. Edwina, which is actually no longer a guest. She's actually a part of the Cole Realty Group Orlando, and I'm fired up and excited about that. We have Joaya, Chris Hales, and Toya. Welcome, y'all.
Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Closing the Gap with the Cole Realty Group.
Just to go ahead and do some stat highlights real quick, like we do every week. We're going to be looking at the January 2022 sales, January 11th update. We have something new, guys. We have the Cole Realty Group squad announcement and also Zillow sales. So we're going to be looking at that as well.
All right, so let's get it started for January 2022 through January the 11th. Congratulations to Deidre Carter with 2 closed deals at $735,000. Charisma Mims is right on her heels with 2 closed deals at $705,000. And then we have our very own squad leader, Brandy Perry, at $215,000.
So guys, here we are, the Cole Realty Group squads for 2022 Zillow sales. Nicole, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do this one.
All right, Coach. Well, guys, you know, we wanted to do things a little bit differently for 2022. So we are excited to announce our squad leaders, Henry, Brandy, Charisma, and Nikisha. And as you can see, each of the squad leaders have several agents that they will mentor, coach, and lead to make sure that we continue to dominate amongst the brokerages in Atlanta, especially with Zillow.
So let me just introduce myself again. I'm Peyton Reeves. I own an inspection firm here in Atlanta, and we started in 2017, and we've had steady growth ever since. It's been a great market coming up through the years, and it's just been a good thing. And I love working with realtors and different brokerages. And of all the brokerages that we work with, the Cole Realty Group is just, I mean, they're hands down lights out. You guys do everything right. So we love working with you guys. Even this presentation is on point. So.
Well, thank you, Peyton. You know, we have done a lot of transactions together. We were talking, you and I, Naisha, earlier, and we just appreciate your professionalism, you know, always doing what you can to make sure that you accommodate us. And we're just excited about having this discussion today, navigating through the inspection, because man, oh man, it can get rough out here in these real estate streets.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been having some crazy growth too. So we love working with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to continue working with y'all.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started. So Peyton, we're going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. So when you guys reached out to me, you know, it was a matter of really just getting through the inspection report. And so I kind of developed the main 10 questions that I get asked a lot. And I think all of these questions will be very important to not only realtors, but home buyers as well. So yeah, let's get started. What makes us different than any other inspection firm? So my main thing, and this has been from day one, is communication. I feel like communication is something that our whole industry has lacked. And so that's what we try to excel in. I know you guys do too. So another reason why we love working with you, but just the ability to speak to a home buyer without scaring them. I mean, our job is to educate the home buyer and build their confidence. And a confident home buyer is typically a happy one. So if the realtor and especially the buyer is not present during the inspection, we're going to give them a call 100% of the time so that we can review the bigger items from the inspection with them over the phone, because it just, whenever they get a report and they don't know what's going to be on it or have any idea of what's going to be on it, they're shocked, and there's all sorts of just overwhelmed.
They ready to throw the whole house away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they ready
exactly.
to
They're
terminate.
scared. They're scared. And our job is not to scare them, it's to educate them. And the better we educate them, the more confident they're going to be, because I say this all the time. Most things in a home are very fixable. I mean, there are very few things that are deal breakers, and the better we communicate that, the happier they're going to be. So if they have an idea of what to expect when they get the report, then they're not going to be shocked. And like I said, that's something that we excel in, is that first communication. Anyway, so that's really the main thing that makes us different. I know there's a lot of other things that makes us different as well, but that is the main thing for me. So anyway.
Peyton, I want to chime in on that and get a little bit more of a discussion going around setting that expectation, making sure that the agent has an opportunity to share with their client what to expect, because you're right, it is overwhelming. You get that 60-page report and you're like, oh my God, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a little bit more around how the agent, or how you would recommend, that they set that expectation?
Well, so what I would say is, it's always not a bad thing to just say, listen, up front, there's going to be a lot of things on the report, and a lot of things are just informational. There's a lot of things that we have to put on a report for legal purposes. So there's a lot of information, but don't let those small details scare you, because the main thing is that summary page, which is on our report, it's like the third or fourth page down. Those are the bigger items. All that other stuff, they're technically defects, but I mean, we got to put them on there, right? So the major items are the ones that are front and center. And I'm not saying don't worry about anything else, but those are the other things that are just, those are the things that you should be aware of, because we're trying to get you to know the house as much as possible. What we're doing. So just setting the expectation. Listen, this thing's going to be anywhere from 30 to 60 pages, like you said. But the good thing with us is it also kind of depends on how you lay out the report. I'll be totally honest with you. I've seen some inspection reports from other companies that are just, I read inspection reports all the time and I'm confused. I don't even know what I'm looking at. So the other thing is how it's laid out, because you have to lay these reports out to where people can read them like virgin eyes. Because if you put a bunch of mumbo jumbo and fine print in there, nobody's going to be able to read it. So we've tweaked our report over the years so many times, and we really feel like we have a very legible report. So again, it's also how you lay it out. But I mean, setting the expectation and just letting them know that there's going to be a lot of information on this report, but the important things we can personally ask the inspector about.
And you mentioned one of the things that separates you from other companies. I've worked with you all on numerous occasions, and one of the things I do really, really enjoy about working with you and Roberto is that I can call you and have you ease the purchaser's concerns.
Yeah.
I can contact you and allow you all to have, a very in-depth discussion. As you mentioned, well, now those are things that are required to be put on the report, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's alarming. So that's another thing that I wanted to point out, which is a huge differentiator between you all and other inspectors. So thank you.
Yeah,
which is important sometimes, because a lot of times, that's how you talk the buyer off of the ledge, because inspector, you are the one that's doing the report, you are the one that, inspected the house. So a lot of times, they feel more comfortable by speaking with you, so you can kind of say, okay, yes, this is on the report, but let me help you understand what's going on. And then it kind of, allows them to be able to get back in the game.
Right. And I do that all the time. Like, I'll literally sit down, they'll have the report, I'll have the report on my computer, and I'll answer questions for them, because a lot of the times they just don't understand. They think there's a big deal going on and they just don't understand. So we will definitely help ease their mind by helping them understand what's on the report.
And one of the other things that's a huge differentiator for you all, Peyton, is I like the fact that when you finish an inspection you contact the agent and you give us a summary of what your findings are. If there's anything that we need to be concerned with, these are the most challenging things that we need to focus on with the buyer. And I really appreciate that. I've worked with other inspectors who you have to, wait till you get the report, read through it. Like you said, some of them are a little bit challenging to understand versus others. And I just like the design of yours because the categories, is it poor, good, and fair, right? I think I got something like that.
Yeah.
So I really do. I like that about your reports. It's easy to navigate through them and understand, what needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I can already tell you, I already know what questions the buyers are going to ask. So that's why we call you. Listen, I just told them about this, this, and this. They're going to have questions. I already explained it to them, and I'm going to explain it to you. Before you even get the report, you have most of the questions answered. So
Nice.
that saves a ton of deals.
I like it. Okay.
So how's the inspection scheduled? We have online scheduling, or you can call to schedule over the phone. We have an online booking software on our website. It automatically gives you time frames, prices, everything you need to book online. We also have two great admins that are rock stars. Their names are Natalie and Sarah, and they make themselves available to book appointments 7 days a week. Most of the time, the buyer is the one who schedules the inspection, but that's really up to the agent's discretion. We have a lot of agents that reach out to us directly, even Cole Realty Group agents that like to schedule the inspection themselves. We don't care how you schedule it, but anyway, again, either online or even text us. You can text us as well. So we will then reach out to the listing agent to request that day and time. So you guys don't have to do that. We will do that. And whenever they approve that day and time, they will then send us the CBS code for access. And we have 2 appointments a day, either morning or afternoon. So whichever works best for the client.
And how far in advance notice do you all need, Peyton, when it comes to scheduling the inspection?
That is really a week by week difference. I mean, it seems like everybody wants to book an inspection at the exact same time, and then the phone won't ring for a couple days, and then we'll book 1 million in a day. It's insane, the ebbs and flow, but I think that's just real estate in general. But
yeah.
So most of the time, I will say during the summer, we're usually a few days out. During the winter, sometimes we can do next day bookings. Right now we have availability next day. But depending on the week, sometimes we're booked 7 days out. Usually we're not booked that far out. Usually not. So typically within 3 days, we could get you in.
Nice.
So question for you. So if you have agents that are calling in to book it, and speak with you all directly, is the online calendar up to date?
Yes, it's live.
Okay. All right. So then it's immediately, whether they text or call or speak to someone, the online calendar is always updated. So if someone goes in and books a date, 9 times out of 10, that date is available.
For sure. So matter of fact, what a lot of people do, if you go binding at 10 o'clock at night, which seems like it's half the time that happens, you can literally go on our website and book a space. You don't have to wait until 8 or 8:30 until somebody can answer the phone. You can even text us late as well, but you can literally secure that space that you need online without even talking to anybody.
Okay.
Awesome.
And people do that. Or you can just send a link to your buyer and they can pick the time that works best for them as well. A lot of the times they like to show up too. So depending on their work schedule, I mean, I don't know what works best for them, but most of the time they'll try and choose something that works best so they can be there.
And Peyton, you cover all of Georgia, or are there certain areas that you focus on primarily?
Pretty large area. So we'll go anywhere from South Atlanta all the way up to North Georgia. So we don't go too far past Peachtree City. but we can go to Dahlonega. I feel like we can get to Dahlonega just as quick as South Atlanta sometimes. So, but yeah, Peachtree City is about as far as we'll go south. But again, north we'll go. I mean, I've done inspections in Ellijay before.
Wow. Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can just blast up an interstate to get to North Georgia. So
Right.
yeah. Anyway, okay. Next slide. Unless you guys have any more questions.
Nope. And guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. This is good information. We've got one of the experts here with us today, so we want to make sure we take full advantage of this.
Yeah, you guys chime in whenever. Feel free to interrupt.
Yes.
Okay, what are the things that you cover during a home inspection? So we'll cover anything, I mean, everything really, from the roof to the foundation, everything else in between. I will say though, it's a visible inspection. So there's visual limitations a lot of the time. So if we can't see it, then we cannot inspect it. We're also not allowed to move any personal belongings from anybody's house. So, however, we do our best on the front end. Whenever we reach out to the listing agent to schedule the inspection, we put in there in the note that please make all the home components accessible and visible so that we can inspect them. If not, then we just can't do it. I mean, we're not allowed to move anything. So you guys, I'm sure, have been in houses where they have boxes and everything stacked in front of stuff.
Right.
So like I said, we do our best to make sure that everything's accessible before we arrive, but sometimes that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, heating, air, electrical, plumbing, exterior. I mean, the major things for me are, foundation, the water tightness of the house, pretty much. Anything to do with water and foundation is big. So but besides that, we literally cover everything. I mean,
so you would say that the main things are the water and the foundation? Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I mean,
I'm adding it to our chat.
Water for sure. I mean, water is the most important thing because that's the one thing that can ruin a house quicker than anything else.
Okay.
Nice.
Foundation. There's different types of foundation, so there's different types of concerns with each. But yeah, water in general, it's huge on a home inspection.
Okay.
All right, next slide. Can a buyer and agent be there during a home inspection? Absolutely. I would 100% encourage it. So it's not imperative that you're there because again, we're going to call you every single time for a review after, but it is nice to show the client some important details of the home in person, especially main things like a main water shutoff valve, their gas valve, their main electrical shutoff, all that stuff that if they need to know, they can go running to it to shut it off, So it is nice to show people that, but I mean, we're going to have photos of that stuff in the report anyway. But yeah, we always like to get face-to-face with them as well, because again, it's about communication and being able to ease their mind. So if they do show up, we typically recommend being there like the last 30 minutes, like towards the end of the inspection. Because the reality is a home inspection is a very process-oriented thing. So the more efficient we make it, the better. But if they want to be there the whole time, that's absolutely fine as well.
So let me ask you a question, Peyton. Have you ever had a situation where the agent thinks they're the inspector and no more than you?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay. Or what about the buyer? Think they just know it all?
Yes, the buyer for sure. It's not
okay.
the buyer themselves most of the time. It's the buyer's family. If they bring their family with them, I mean, they've got an uncle that just knows everything. And then the uncle or the dad is pulling me in all sorts of directions. And like I said, it's a very process-oriented thing. And a lot of the times they'll have questions for me, and I hadn't gotten there yet. I hadn't inspected it yet, dude.
Yeah, so, right. So you roll.
Right. Yeah. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? But again, that's fine. But it's just, A 3-hour inspection is going to be a 4.5-hour inspection if that's the case. Anyway.
Pay
And
the
what about-
agents too when they go look at the
Yes.
houses, so we understand.
Mhm.
Yes,
We understand. Yes.
Please don't bring your parents.
You know, and to that point, when you have first time home buyers,
Yeah.
you know, man,
I know.
it's scary because, you know, for them, this is they are just overwhelmed. And that's why it's so important, you know, like you said, to set the expectation that, listen, it's going to be overwhelming, but we can get you through it. And we recommend, you know, preferred inspectors to help throughout that process, because, and if they come and they don't know what they're looking at, oh my God.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few situations as well where, like, they'll bring, I'm not talking about just 1 or 2 people, they'll bring their 10 people to the inspection, and kids run around with cars and breaking stuff. I'm like, oh, not good.
Only imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, but nevertheless, yeah, I always encourage, you know, both parties being there for at least some of the time. So if not, it's totally fine. How quickly or how long does it take, and how quickly will you receive the report? So the length of time is solely based on the scope of work. I mean, I've had an 1.5-hour inspection is probably the shortest, but I've had one last over 8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's mostly based on the condition of the home, number one, and then the size, number two,
Right.
and foundation type. So that's how we price. We price on those 3 factors. So age, size, and foundation type. Age doesn't always mean that it's going to be in worse shape. However, that's the only indicator that we have that will let us know. It's the most accurate thing, at least as far as condition goes. But I mean, I've had a 1,000 square foot house take a long time just because it's near tear down status. I mean, it's just, but anyway, I would say the average home inspection is around 3.5 hours. So, but there's other factors as well. If it goes smoothly, it could be quicker, or if we spend a lot of time answering questions on the back end with the home buyer, it can be longer. So that's why for our afternoon appointments, we do ask for like a 30-minute grace period, just in case we're running late from our first appointment. But yeah, typically about 3.5 hours is safe. So that's how we usually schedule it. And we guarantee our inspection reports within 24 hours of the inspection. So yeah, it's most of the time it's by 10 a.m. That's not always the case, but it just depends on again, the inspection and the scope of work, because the more stuff, the longer the inspection takes, the longer the inspection report is going to take, is what I tell people. So, and at some point you have to go to sleep at night, but anyway, so yeah, next day is when you get the report. All right.
Can I ask a question, or we do it?
Yes.
All right. So, Peyton, it is right.
Yes.
When it comes to your providing your certification and your insurance, do you provide that upfront to your agents before you start taking out the clients?
So we only provide that when it's asked for by new home builders. So one of the services that we provide is pre-drywall inspections and the final walkthrough inspection with a new construction. And the home builder will always request us to send them our certification, our business license, and our insurance policy. So, and they call that bundle of 3 things our credentials. So we send our credentials to every new home builder whenever they ask for it, and 99% of the time they ask for it.
Okay, how would you handle this situation? You go out and you did an inspection for a home. In the crawl space, you didn't see that there was a leak, and like 20 days or less from that time when you did the inspection, the homeowner closed on the home and then shortly had a plumber come out, and then they saw that there was a leak that had been there since like at least 2 months prior. How would you have handled that with your insurance and all?
Well, we don't take out claims on our own insurance policy. So how it would work is, first off, we have a money back satisfaction guarantee. So if our client is not happy with our inspection in any way, shape, or form, it's money back guaranteed. So home inspection companies also, I mean, that's the best thing we can do because we can't offer warranties. So we can't warrant the work. However, if there's a leak that's missed, then what I would do is I would go out, double check it. I need photos. I need to assess the whole situation. I need basically to guarantee that it's not a new leak. But yeah, it's case by case, but I would give them their money back. If I truly missed something that I was supposed to catch, they're going to get a refund on their inspection.
So is it I mean, giving them the money back would be like 300, 350, but you missing that leak, which could be just an accident, that has run them, or is gonna run them like over 5,000. Wouldn't it be easy for you to have them claim against your insurance? I mean, that's why you have insurance, right?
They can do that, but that's up to them. Like I said, they're the ones who make the claim. It's not us. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to know.
Yeah,
And
I've
so
never
I
actually had a claim against my insurance, but I wouldn't if I truly missed something and it was like a crazy repair. I mean, that's what I would have them do if that's what they wanted to do.
So they would actually submit a claim against their insurance for whatever the repair is.
Right.
Is that right?
So they would have to basically file a lawsuit, and then the claim would go against my insurance. Got
it. Okay, that's good stuff. Good question, Akeisha. Thank you.
Yeah. Never had that happen, but I mean,
well, that's good, Peyton.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've missed some things. Nobody's perfect. No inspector is going to be 100% all of the time. But if there's something that I missed, I'm going to do my best to rectify the situation. But and this happens a lot too, if there is something that I missed that I'm not supposed to catch, that I'm not liable for, they're not getting their money back. Like, it's simple as that. That's not my responsibility. So that's happened before as well. So
give us an example of something like that, Peyton, where it's not in the scope of what you do, but then, they discover something.
Yeah. So there's been a few different ones, but one of them in particular, so believe it or not, appliances, we don't have to inspect appliances. We do inspect appliances for our clients, right? We want to make sure the appliances work. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a home that we inspected everything, and everything checked out in the kitchen. And this house was lived in for 2 months prior to them moving in. It was occupied. Well, in that time, the oven goes out, and they tried to blame us. I'm like, listen, I have proof that this thing worked whenever I was there. Mm-hmm. And then I have no bearing on I have no responsibility on what happens after I'm there. This thing was used every single day for 2 months after I left. So number one, there's my defense. Number two, I don't have to do appliances. I do for you, but I'm not liable for that.
Got it.
Also, there's things all the time people will try and hit us with on stuff we can't see. So a lot of times people will do a renovation in a house, and they'll tear the walls down, and they'll say, oh, well, this is the wrong fitting for this particular piping. You have PVC for this when it should be CPVC or PEX or whatever. And now I have to replace all the piping. Well, we couldn't see it. So visually, that's a limitation for us. So those are the types of things that we get pushback on clients sometimes, but every home inspection company does.
We got a question in the chat from Cherise. It says, do you all offer a recheck for properties if buyer requests repairs from seller based on your inspection report?
That is one of the questions in this slide, I believe.
Ah, okay. Jump the gun.
Not at all. I think it's one of the last ones. Let me see here.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and cover it. So the answer is yes. And that's called a re-inspection. We charge $150 for that service. But what you guys need to understand is on our end, there's two different types of re-inspections. So the first type is the fee paid by the buyer, right? So that's the question she just asked. So when the home buyer wants us to go back out to the property to double check all the items that the seller agreed to repair from the original report, we'll go back out there and check all those items. What we need from the buyer's agent, from you guys, is the amendment to address concerns. So we take the ATAC and we do our own little secondary report with it. And we'll either say it's fixed, not fixed, fixed, not fixed. Most of the time, there's at least one or two items that were not repaired. So those things are worth it to do it, I think. So yes, that's the first type of reinspection. The other type of reinspection is a fee paid by the seller. So like I said earlier, if it's not accessible for us, we can't inspect it. So when we get to a house and the water's not on, or the gas is not on, or the attic is locked or something like that, we can't get in there. So if that's the case and the buyer wants us to go back out to the property to re-inspect the items that we could not get to or we could not inspect during the first inspection, then we will need to confirm with the seller's agent that they're willing to pay for us to go back out there. Time's money. So we communicated with that seller's agent up front that if we are not able to access everything that we need to access, then there's a fee involved. So please make sure that the home components are accessible. So whenever we reach out to the listing agent to schedule the inspection, they should be aware that if we can't get to something or if the water's not on, then we can't inspect the plumbing. And if we have to go back out, they know that there's a fee involved for that. So that's the two types of re-inspections. Both of them are pretty common. So we offer the full residential home inspection. I already covered this earlier as well, but new construction inspection. And there's two types. We have the pre-drywall inspection. And that's basically just to make sure that everything is fine before they put the drywall up on the house. So that's, all the plumbing, the electrical is in, the fire blockers in, all the framing is done. So that's when we need to go in, is right before they put the drywall up, just to make sure everything's fine. That's pre-drywall. Those are $250. Those are cheaper than your standard inspection. And then on the new construction, we also do the final inspection as well. We do radon gas testing, which is a 2-day turnaround. So the radon monitor has to be there for a minimum of 48 hours. We also do mold air sample testing as well, which is basically a full mold inspection. And that that'll be via lab results as well. So we'll do the air sample, or if there's also physical mold as well, we can take a swab sample of that and send that to the lab too.
Nice.
And that's usually a 1-day turnaround, but that's business days. So if we do it on Friday, you're not going to have it back till Monday because labs are closed on the weekends.
And we do have another question about the pricing. You said it's based on the age, the square footage, and what else was it, Peyton?
And the foundation type.
The foundation type. Okay, got it.
So they start out at $345, and then we add $5 for every 5 years of age. Okay, so if it's 100 years old, it's going to be $245 instead of $345.
Mhm.
And then we also have tiers that go up based on size. So obviously, if it's a bigger house, then it'll be more expensive as well. But the additional charges are age, which what we're doing there is to make sure that we try and cover ourselves for the condition of the home, because that's the only thing we have to go by is age. So again, $5 for every 5 years of age, and then $25 for a basement or foundation, or sorry, a basement or crawl space.
Okay.
All right, next
Our
slide.
pricing is also on our website as well. So radon testing is $150. Mold testing is $295. And a re-inspection, like I mentioned earlier, is $150.
Got it.
Okay. So the other services, yeah, radon, mold, and then we also do infrared thermal imaging as well for free with every inspection. So it's a thermal camera that can see differences in temperature between the walls. So we can tell you if there's any, energy deficiencies. It's pretty good at catching leaks as well that are latent too. So the only time that doesn't work is if the same temperature outside as it is inside. That's the only issue with that. So
Nice.
yeah.
Learning something new today, babe.
I'm sorry.
Learning something new today.
Yeah. Yeah. So that right there is what he scrolled down on. That's a thermal
Mhm.
camera there. So
Okay.
the money back satisfaction guarantee is pretty big. Obviously, we're also, licensed, certified, insured. As I mentioned earlier, the free infrared thermal imaging is big. 24-hour reporting is also big. I know a lot of inspection companies, they don't get their reports back within 24 hours. The large service area and the flexible schedule.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you guys need a custom time on a home inspection, usually we can accommodate that. So just keep that in mind as well. And the easy to read report, I think that's really big, because like I said earlier, the layout of the report is very important for the home buyer to understand. And home advice for life as well. We always encourage our clients to call us at any time after the inspection. It could be years after, for any advice. So we're happy to help down the road too.
Now that's pretty cool. So they could have had an inspection done 10 years ago, and as long as it was completed by your company and they have questions about it, they can contact you all to get them answered.
Wow. That's good.
Awesome. That's awesome.
That's really good.
For
Like
sure.
that.
For sure. Our pricing is very competitive, I think. I've seen some home inspection companies charge crazy and like really extremely high prices for home inspections, but I've also seen some just worthlessly low. So I think our pricing is very competitive, not a little bit lower than a lot of competitors. Like I said earlier, they start out at $345, which is very competitive. I mean, it may, if you get a home inspection for $200, I can guarantee you it's not worth it. It's not going to be a value. And I will say that I wholeheartedly believe that we have the best value in the business for home inspections. I mean, it's just simple as that. Can you, yeah, I get this question a lot. So can you give me an estimate on to repair all the defects in the home? So the short answer is no. And the reason is because, I mean, you could get 5 different quotes from different contractors and they're all going to come back drastically different. Right. And we're not contractors ourselves. So it's just not in the inspector's wheelhouse to price out all these items. But what we can do, we can always help. So again, with that advice. So a lot of times we'll get questions on the severity of an issue. Like if it's something that needs a specialty service, like, or if it's just a service call by an electrician they're just gonna charge you for, a service call of $200, or if it's a full on, remodel situation going on. So we can give our best advice in that regard, but as far as pricing things out, we just can't do it. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a service out there that will do that. So the service is called Repair Pricer, and they will literally take the inspection report and give you an industry average for all the defects on the entire report. So I learned about that a couple years ago, and I know a lot of buyers that have done that before. Again, repairpricer.com. It's not free, but depending on the report, it might be worth it.
I think that's amazing. I mean, because especially when, on the buy side, we're representing our clients and we're asking, for repairs if they don't want to make them, and then they give a credit in lieu of that. I think it is really important that you, have some indication as to what it's going to cost.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that was, I'm sorry, Peyton, what was that website again?
Repair Pricer.
Perfect. So we have another question in the chat. Charisma says, is there a cutoff time for an inspection to get the report the same day? Sometimes low due diligence days help when the offer, so quick turnaround on an inspection is needed. So how can you accommodate those?
So we get this all the time too. So yes, we can do same day reports upon request. However, I'll be upfront with people. If I have a 30-year-old house that's 7,000 square feet, and then we have another inspection after that, I just don't see any way that we're going to be able to get that report done same day. It's just, if we do, then, it'll be really late at night. And a lot of the times that's the next day anyway. I mean, but 99% of the time we'll be able to get you that report same day. Again, though, it depends on the scope of the work on the house. If it's just a really overwhelming house, it's just not possible. Because you're spending 5 hours at the inspection, then you got to do the report after that. So, and another one the same day on top of that. So, and we got to guarantee both of them within 24 hours. But to answer the question, yeah, we can do that upon request. And I know a lot of you do request that a good bit, and we're happy to do the best we can with that.
Me, I've done
it.
Plenty of times.
Do it,
And you guys, if you can, there have been numerous occasions where you have accommodated me and gone out there as quickly as the same day in some instances and got the report back to me that afternoon. So I can attest to that, that if you guys can do it, you will definitely get it done. Yeah.
I mean, if you give me a house that's less than 2,000 square feet on a slab that's 5 years old, I'll have that thing done within a few hours after the inspection, no problem. So, but again, it goes back to the whole scope of work thing. It depends on how tough the inspection is.
Nice.
I was going to say something else about Repair Pricer. I don't remember. Anyway, we can move on. It's fine.
Well, if you think of it, send it over to me and I can share it with everyone.
So yes, this was a question that was already asked. Yeah, we go back for re-inspections. So.
All right. Well, Peyton, I mean, this has been amazing, and we can't thank you enough for sharing this information with us. We're going to open it up to the floor and see if anybody has any questions for Peyton.
Nobody? No questions?
No questions? I'll be calling Nation and I tell them, I got a question about this inspection.
I know that's right. like they say in the church, it's all hearts and minds.
Now's your chance. Yes. Now is your chance to ask your question.
You guys email me. If you think of a question later, just reach out to us. Happy to help.
And Peyton, what's your email address? Let me put it in the chat.
Well, I have two.
Okay.
So my personal email is Peyton, Peyton, at inspectionanalytics.com. If you have questions regarding scheduling, then you send it to office@inspectionanalytics.com.
And then also your website, Peyton.
Yep, www.inspectionanalytics.com.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, Peyton, again, thank you. We're looking forward to, extending the invitation again. I'm sure we'll have you on and at another time to share more information with us about inspections. And we're just excited to continue
Yeah,
working with you.
thank you for having me. I
Definitely.
love the opportunity. Again, love working with you guys. So looking forward to working with you some more, and hopefully some newer agents with Cole Realty.
Absolutely. Yes. We're growing. So we're
That's
excited
right.
about
We're
that.
going nowhere but up.
Yeah, y'all are
Nowhere but
killing
up.
it. Killing it. Y'all are some hustlers.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Peyton. Well, guys, that is the end of our series today on Closing the Gap, the inspection process. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, TCRG Closing the Gap, and we'll see you next week.
All
Bye.
right.
Thanks,
Bye,
Peyton.
y'all.
Bye.